They're not watching you. They're not waiting for you to win. They're not counting the days until your breakthrough, because the truth is nobody cares. Not in the way you think. Nobody's going to drag you out of bed at 5 a.m. Nobody's going to sit beside you and clap while you struggle. Nobody's handing you an award just for surviving. That might sound harsh, but that's the truth you've been avoiding, and sometimes it's the truth that saves us. You keep waiting for validation, for someone to see your potential, for someone to whisper, "I believe in you." But let me tell you something. Believe in yourself before the world notices. Because if you're sitting around hoping someone will give you permission to live your dream, you'll be waiting forever. The world doesn't reward potential. The world rewards execution. The world rewards the people who get up, grind, and never ask for applause. You're not owed anything, not success, not respect, not recognition. Everything you want, you're going to have to build it from nothing, piece by piece, hour by hour, alone if you have to. Because when you really want something, you stop waiting for someone to care and you start building quietly. Let them overlook you. Let them doubt you. Let them laugh. Because every moment you spend thinking about what they think is a moment stolen from your future. Focus on you. The truth is, every champion you admire once trained in silence. Every success story you repost started in a room where nobody clapped for them. The gym was empty, the bank account was low, the motivation was gone, and still they showed up. They understood this principle. Nobody cares. Work hard anyway. You think they had it easy? You think they didn't cry in the shower, feel broken, want to quit? Of course they did. But they didn't. That's the difference. See, most people work hard until they're tired, until it hurts, until they feel discouraged. But winners keep going after all that because they know every time you keep going when nobody's watching, you grow into the person who deserves the success you're chasing. It's not about them, it's about you, your future, your standards, your character. They don't have to believe in you. They don't have to clap. They don't have to support, because you're not doing this for them. You're doing it for you. You have to stop waiting for the world to care before you get serious. You have to stop thinking someone else will do it with you. You have to stop hoping it'll get easier. And that's good, because the struggle creates strength. The silence builds focus. The rejection fuels the fire. Start waiting for validation. Start taking action. That's the most critical mindset shift you'll ever make if you want to achieve anything meaningful in your life. Too many people spend years stuck in neutral, paralyzed by the fear of not being seen, not being appreciated, or not being acknowledged. They wait for someone to tell them it's okay to begin, to confirm that they're good enough, that they're ready. But here's the truth. Nobody's coming to do that for you. Nobody is standing by to hand you your dream on a silver platter. If you're serious about success, the first and most important thing you have to understand is that no one owes you anything. That truth isn't meant to discourage you. It's meant to free you. When you stop expecting the world to notice you, you liberate yourself from the need for permission. You stop holding yourself hostage to the opinions, expectations, and applause of others. You stop playing small in hopes of being liked. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, because now you understand there is no perfect moment. There's only now, and now is all you've got. You don't need someone to clap for you before you take your first step. You don't need followers, fans, or praise to get started. What you need is clarity and commitment. Clarity about who you are and what you want. Commitment to taking the next step even when it feels invisible, uncertain, or lonely. Waiting for validation will kill your momentum. It will slowly drain your confidence, and over time you'll start convincing yourself that you're not good enough, not because you actually aren't, but because you never gave yourself the chance to find out. Too many dreams die because someone spent too much time waiting for applause that never came. Do not let that be your story. The people you admire didn't start because they were supported. They started because they were obsessed. They had a vision and they chased it without needing a crowd behind them. That's the kind of inner fire you need, the kind that burns without being fueled by external praise. Every step you take on your own strengthens your belief in yourself. Every decision you make without a pat on the back builds resilience. And over time, those silent efforts accumulate into something powerful, something undeniable. Because here's what people don't tell you. Success doesn't come after people start believing in you. It comes before. It comes when no one is watching, when you're working in the dark, when you're making sacrifices, showing up and grinding through the moments that don't look impressive. That's where the real transformation happens. And when success finally arrives, when people start to notice, you won't need their validation anymore. Because by then you'll know you didn't do it for them. You didn't wait for them. You built it yourself. That kind of confidence can't be bought. It can't be faked. It can only be earned by doing the work when no one's clapping. So stop waiting. Stop looking sideways. Stop holding back because someone hasn't told you yes yet. Say yes to yourself. That's the only validation that matters. The moment you stop needing others to believe in you is the moment you become unstoppable. Take the step, make the move, prove to yourself that you are more than capable, and let the results do the talking. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. That's the second unshakable truth you must internalize if you're serious about achieving anything of value. Having talent is not enough. Having ambition is not enough. Having a dream isn't enough. The road to success is littered with people who had potential but never executed. They had the ideas, the skills, the plans, but they didn't act. They hesitated, they waited, they overthought. And in the end, someone else with half their talent but twice their discipline took the prize. Execution is what separates dreamers from doers. You might have a brilliant vision of the life you want. You might have skills that could change the game. But if you're not applying them daily, consistently, relentlessly, then it doesn't matter. Potential is silent. Execution is loud. Execution is what people see. It's what builds your reputation, your results, your legacy. Nobody can see what's in your head. Nobody is moved by the greatness you could have. They're moved by what you actually deliver. Every day you choose not to take action is a day someone else moves closer to what you say you want. Execution means doing the work even when it's boring, even when you're tired, even when the initial excitement fades and all that's left is discipline. That's where most people stop. They confuse the presence of struggle with the absence of success. They think if it's hard, it must not be meant for them. But the opposite is true. If it's hard, it means you're on the edge of growth. And if you can stay in it long enough, keep showing up, keep pushing, keep executing, you'll find out what you're truly made of. Growth only happens through repetition, through effort, through doing the same thing again and again until it becomes second nature. That's execution. That's what builds empires. And don't make the mistake of thinking you need to execute perfectly. You don't. You just need to show up consistently. Perfection is a trap. It's a lie that keeps you from starting. What matters is momentum. The more you move, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you get. And the better you get, the closer you are to your breakthrough. That's how execution works. It's not glamorous. It's not always inspiring. But it's the difference between talking about a goal and actually achieving it. The truth is, the people you admire, those at the top of their game, aren't necessarily more talented than you. They're just better at execution. They've trained themselves to show up whether they feel like it or not. They've conditioned their minds to work through resistance. They don't need to feel motivated every day because they've built systems, routines, and mental toughness that carry them through the low points. They've stopped depending on emotion and learned to trust the process. If you want results, you need to make execution your obsession. Wake up and ask what needs to be done today. Then do it. Not just when it's convenient, not just when it's easy. Every day, without apology, without excuses. Let others be addicted to talking. You be addicted to action. Let others chase recognition. You chase results. Let them wonder how you got there. You'll know the answer. You executed. While they talked, you built. While they waited, you moved. While they dreamed, you worked. And that is why you'll win. Because in the end, potential might get you started, but execution is what takes you across the finish line. Discipline over motivation. That's the third principle that separates those who wish from those who win. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. It's that spark you get when you watch a powerful video or hear an inspiring story. It feels good, but it fades. And if you're depending on motivation to carry you, you'll never reach your full potential. Because some days, you won't feel like getting up early. You won't feel like grinding. You won't feel like sacrificing. And if you're waiting to feel ready, you'll never move. That's why motivation is a trap. It convinces you that progress is tied to emotion, when in reality, progress is tied to discipline. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't rely on excitement. Discipline shows up rain or shine, tired or energized, praised or criticized. It's the quiet force behind every great achievement you've ever seen. People look at successful athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, and think they must be so motivated. But that's wrong. They're not always motivated. What they are is disciplined. They've built habits and systems that don't require constant emotional high. They don't need inspiration. They need a calendar, a commitment, a standard. That's what keeps them moving. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's choosing the hard path now so you can enjoy the results later. It's skipping the party to stay focused. It's waking up at 5 a.m. when your body begs for more sleep. It's putting in reps at the gym when no one is watching. It's staying consistent on the days when everything inside you says quit. That's the part people don't post about. That's the grind no one glamorizes, but that's what builds greatness. If you rely on motivation, your journey will be inconsistent. You'll start strong, then fall off when life gets hard. You'll talk big in January and give up by February. But when you build discipline, you create momentum that keeps rolling. You move forward even when life punches you in the face. You stay locked in even when results are slow. You remain focused even when distractions scream for your attention, because you've already made the decision, this is who I am now. I'm not someone who waits to feel ready. I'm someone who acts with purpose, regardless of how I feel. The truth is, every day won't be exciting. You won't always see quick results. You won't always feel proud of your effort. But discipline pushes through that fog. It's the invisible fuel that powers champions. It's the mindset that says, this is not about how I feel. This is about who I'm becoming. Because success isn't built on good days. It's built on the days you didn't want to show up, but did anyway. That's where you separate yourself. That's where you grow. So you need to ask yourself, are you chasing a feeling or are you chasing a future? Because if it's just a feeling, you'll give up when it gets hard. But if it's a future you believe in, you'll develop the discipline to keep going. You'll learn to override your emotions with commitment. You'll stop negotiating with your excuses. You'll become the kind of person who does what they said they would do long after the mood has left. And when you look back, you'll realize something powerful. It wasn't motivation that got you there. It was the quiet, repetitive, unglamorous work, the hours no one saw, the sacrifices no one applauded, the grind you kept showing up for, not because you felt like it, but because you were disciplined. And that made all the difference. Work in silence, let your results speak. That's the fourth key to unlocking real, lasting success. In today's world where everyone's shouting about what they're doing, posting every small achievement, and seeking validation from likes and followers, it's easy to get caught up in the noise. People feel pressured to show off every step of the journey before they've even taken the first stride. But the truth is, the loudest person in the room isn't always the one doing the most. Often, it's the one doing the least, because real power, real growth, and real breakthroughs, they happen in the quiet. They happen when no one's watching. When you learn to keep your head down and focus on the work, everything changes. You stop performing for others. You stop needing applause to validate your effort. You stop relying on attention to keep going. You begin to find strength in the solitude. The silence becomes sacred because you understand that greatness isn't built under spotlights. It's built in the shadows. It's built through early mornings, late nights, and countless repetitions behind closed doors. While others are busy broadcasting their plans, you're busy building yours. While they're collecting likes, you're collecting wins. And when the time is right, your results will do the talking. This isn't about hiding your progress. It's about not needing approval to keep moving forward. There's a massive difference between sharing your journey and depending on the reaction to that share. When you work in silence, you develop self-trust. You stop asking, do they see me? And start declaring, I see me. You stop looking for claps and start focusing on consistency. That's where the magic happens. When your motivation is internal, when your commitment is not tied to attention, but to a standard you've set for yourself. There's power in being underestimated. When no one sees what you're doing, they can't interfere, they can't judge, and they certainly can't distract you. You get to work without noise, you get to sharpen your edge quietly, and when you show up ready. That's what throws people off. One day you're just another person moving in silence, and the next you've become someone they can't ignore. But that doesn't happen by announcing your every step. It happens by taking every step, even when no one notices. When you keep your goals to yourself and let your execution speak, you develop grit. You build a relationship with discipline. You learn to stay consistent, not for likes, but for your legacy. You don't just want to be seen, you want to be great. And greatness doesn't rush to be noticed. Greatness works. It refines. It prepares. It doesn't need to shout, because when the results show up, they speak louder than any post ever could. So stop talking about it. Stop waiting to be recognized before you move. Stop feeding off attention to validate your grind. Focus on the work. Show up every day like nobody's watching, because that's when your growth becomes real. That's when your habits get stronger. That's when your mind becomes tougher. And that's when your results start forming a story no one can deny. In the end, people won't remember your words, they'll remember your results. Not what you said you would do, but what you actually did. Not how loud you were, but how deeply you moved. So keep grinding. Stay quiet. Stay focused. Let the noise distract the others while you build in peace. And when the time comes, let your work be so undeniable that the world can't help but listen. Your only competition is you. That truth is a game changer once you accept it fully. The moment you stop measuring your progress against other people and start measuring it against your own potential, everything shifts. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. You scroll through social media and see someone your age driving the car you want, living in the house you dream of, doing the work you wish you were doing, and suddenly your own progress feels small. Suddenly, what you've built seems insignificant. But that's a lie your mind is feeding you, because comparison is a thief. It robs you of joy, confidence, and momentum. The more you look at someone else's lane, the more you swerve in your own. When you make other people your competition, you lose your focus. You stop thinking about your next step and start obsessing over theirs. You waste energy wondering how they got ahead, what advantages they had, and why your journey looks different. But here's the truth. It's supposed to look different. You're not them. They're not you. Their timeline isn't your timeline. Their purpose isn't your purpose. You were never meant to be in their race. You were meant to run yours, and the only person you need to beat is the version of you that chooses comfort, excuses, and fear. Every day you wake up, you face a battle not with the world, but with yourself. The voice that tells you to hit snooze instead of rise early. The part of you that wants to quit halfway through the workout. The fear that whispers, play it safe. That's your real opponent. And every time you push through, every time you win that internal fight, you grow stronger. You build grit. You move forward. You don't need to beat someone else to win. You need to beat yesterday's you. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the highest achievers, they all share this mindset. They're not obsessed with what others are doing. They're obsessed with mastering themselves. They set their own standards, raise their own bars, and hold themselves accountable. They don't need outside competition to push them because they're already competing with the person in the mirror. That's what fuels greatness. That's what builds momentum that can't be stopped, an inner fire that doesn't rely on anyone else to burn. You'll never unlock your full potential until you stop looking sideways and start looking inward. Ask yourself, did I do better than yesterday? Am I showing up more consistently? Am I making progress, no matter how small? That's the measure that matters. Growth is personal. Success is individual. And when you understand that, you stop needing to impress anyone. You stop needing to prove yourself to others. You start improving for you. And the beautiful thing about focusing on your own path is that it never ends. There's always a new level to reach, a new weakness to overcome, a new strength to build. You become addicted to growth, not because you want to outshine others, but because you want to become someone you're proud of. That's the journey that matters. That's the mindset that turns ordinary into exceptional. So stop watching the scoreboard, stop watching other people's highlight reels, focus on your lane, track your own progress, beat your own records, compete with your comfort zone, challenge your doubt, outwork your fear, and become the person you were meant to be. Not better than them, but better than you were yesterday. That's where real success lives. That's where fulfillment begins. That's where power is born. In your lane, at your pace, against your own limits, sacrifice is the price of elevation. If you want to rise, something has to fall. That's a truth most people avoid because it's uncomfortable. But the truth is you cannot become who you're meant to be while holding on to everything and everyone that fits your current level. Elevation demands separation. It demands that you release the habits, environments, and sometimes even the people that keep you anchored in the same place. Growth isn't just about what you gain, it's about what you're willing to give up. And until you grasp that, you'll keep spinning your wheels, working hard, but staying stuck. Every dream has a cost, not always in money, but always in energy, time, attention, and discipline. If you want to go to the next level, you have to be willing to pay that price. That might mean saying no to temporary pleasure so you can build long-term purpose. It might mean cutting off distractions, even when they come wrapped in comfort. It might mean being misunderstood, judged, or even ridiculed for a while. Sacrifice isn't easy, but it's necessary because comfort will keep you average. And average is the enemy of greatness. Sometimes the thing holding you back isn't failure, it's familiarity. You're too comfortable where you are. You know the people, the routines, the patterns. Even if you're not satisfied, at least it feels safe. But that safety is a cage. It's the illusion that you have time, that you can keep living halfway and somehow still get to the finish line. But life doesn't work like that. Elevation means discomfort. It means stepping into uncertainty. It means walking away from what's good so you can reach for what's great. It means believing that the pain of letting go is worth the power of leveling up. People say they want success, but not everyone wants to pay for it. Everyone wants the outcome, but few want the discipline. Few want the lonely nights, the early mornings, the weekends spent building when everyone else is relaxing. That's why the top is so empty, because very few are willing to make the climb, and the climb is steep. It will demand your focus, your patience, your commitment. You'll have to choose between popularity and progress, between fitting in and standing out, between comfort and calling. Every time you choose your dream over distraction, you get closer. Every time you choose purpose over pleasure, you gain power. Sacrifice will stretch you. It will test your will. It will break your routines and force you to build new ones. But that's the point. You cannot transform and stay the same. You cannot ascend and stay attached. Growth is subtraction before it's addition. And the more you're willing to release, the more room you create to receive. Let go of habits that keep you stagnant. Let go of relationships that drain your energy. Let go of excuses disguised as reasons. The truth is, the life you want is on the other side of what you refuse to let go of. It's waiting, but it can't come to clutter. It can't bless chaos. So clean house, empty your plate, get clear, get focused, and don't apologize for choosing elevation over comfort. You weren't made to stay on the ground. You were built to rise. But wings only work when you're not clinging to the branches. So cut loose, step forward, sacrifice now so you can soar later. Because once you reach the top, you'll realize every loss was a lesson, every delay was direction, and every sacrifice was shaping you for something greater than you imagined.